In the United States, black men have the highest risk for prostate cancer. In that category, they also have the highest mortality rate. Trying to eliminate that disparity is the goal of the Prostate Health Education Network, or PHEN, and free education event will take place in Boston October 19th at John Hancock Hall. To help spread the word is the group's founder and president, Thomas Farrington. Thank you very much for being with us, Thomas.
Thank you, Chris, for having me.
Well, along with founding this group, you are a survivor.
Yes, I am into my 20th years of prostate cancer survivor. I've been truly blessed over this time.
And I guess you have a mission here because, why did you start this group?
Well, the way it worked out was when I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, it was 3 months after my father had passed from prostate cancer. So when I was diagnosed, I really didn't know anything about the disease. I was kind of shocked that I was so clueless. So when I was in treatment, I began to do more study about prostate cancer and decided to write a book. So I released Battling the Killer Within 1 year after I completed my treatment. And I began to, as a way of really to help educate others, because I thought I was so clueless, there must be others the same way. So I began to speak about this in Boston and around the country, and it kind of steamrolled from there. And so I founded the Prostate Health Education Network in 2003, and our mission really is to work towards eliminating the African-American prostate cancer disparity.
Is the experience in the black community different from how it is with other communities? As far as this kind of cancer?
Yeah, when you look at the incidence of prostate cancer, black men have a 60% high incidence rate. And when you look at the mortality rate, it's 2.3 times higher. And this is the largest racial disparity for any type of major cancer in the United States. So prostate cancer is a crisis within black communities across the country.
And of course, early detection must be very important.
Early detection is vital to surviving prostate cancer. You know, one of the things we bring out in our play, and much of our work is that if you're diagnosed with advanced prostate cancer, you can't cure it. You can live with it, and you may survive for a long period of time. In fact, you may survive and outlast the cancer, but what happens, you can't cure it, so it's going to take a toll on your quality of life.
Now, you mentioned the play. There is going to be a free performance of a play called Daddy's Boys. Tell us what this is about.
Yeah, Chris, we're very, very excited about the stage play, Daddy's Boys. It's a play that we have toured around the country now into our second year. And the play is intended to educate men and women about prostate cancer risk and also about some of the issues around treatment, some of the issues around clinical trial. The theme really is about a family who, with a father, a widower, with 3 sons, and they have a fractured relationship. They've had a fractured relationship. So the father is diagnosed with advanced prostate cancer. And so the play really is about this family coming together through a lot of issues, not just prostate cancer, but a lot of issues. And it's very exciting, it's very entertaining. There's a lot of music, there's a lot of comedy and drama in the play. So as we have toured it, audiences have been very, very, very excited, and they've given us very high marks on the play.
You know, I think this is something that goes for a lot of different kinds of people. We don't want to talk about unpleasant things. This might very well be one of them. Just seeing this play, does that change that kind of behavior in any way?
Well, what I found is that the play absolutely does open up the dialogue about prostate cancer, and some of the scenes within the play really deal with that issue. You know, how silence can really impact. In fact, the father has a younger brother who they didn't know had suffered from prostate cancer. And his silence could have helped the father. If he hadn't been silent about his experience to the family, maybe the father would have had early detection and not been diagnosed with advanced disease. But the play really does open it up. And I find that as we carry the play and other educational events around the country, just talking about it in a mixed environment, because we always like to have men and women in our audience, it really opens up that dialogue, because women will force men to say something.
And maybe they will force them to see a doctor and check things out?
And that is the important thing. You know, I always say, and I've said this to many people, if I had to educate men or women about prostate cancer, I'd choose women over men, even though women don't have a prostate. Because I think the women would understand, they will go back and they will bang on their husband and make him do the right thing. A man, on the other hand, may understand, hey, this is an issue, but they may not get off the couch to do anything about it.
You mentioned clinical trials. I know they're a sort of an avenue of hope for somebody, but other than that, why are they so important to the community?
Well, clinical trials really are another form of prostate cancer treatment. And in many cases, it's a treatment with a newer therapy that's not available outside of a clinical trial. Again, I'll mention the play. You know, the father was diagnosed with advanced prostate cancer. Some of the clinical trials that are being conducted now for prostate cancer really focus on that. And so we see a lot of new treatment who have much better effectiveness coming out of these trials than the standard of care. So it is good as another treatment option. In many cases, for men who may be at the end, it may be the only hope for battling a disease.
This has been the news, and we're talking with Thomas Farrington from the Prostate Health Education Network. Thomas, I imagine another one of your missions here is to be an advocate for the community in dealing with the healthcare establishment, because they set standards for what to check out, what to do about it.
Absolutely.
What has that been like for you?
Well, it's an ongoing challenge. Luckily, I sat on the National Comprehensive Cancer Network treatment guideline panel with the top doctors in this country to establish treatment guidelines for prostate cancer. I'm on that panel as a patient advocate. And so it's given me an opportunity to raise my voice and the voice of the patient on some of these treatment guidelines. But it's ongoing because there are a lot of new dynamics. There's a new dynamic that came out not too long ago about early detection. And there was a guideline, a recommendation by a group that the men should not have a PSA testing. And, working to force a relook at that issue, especially as it relates to men at high risk, African American men with a family history, took a number of years, but we really got that change. So it's an ongoing challenge.
You've also been working with churches. Why was that important for you?
Well, when you're in the African American community, the churches are the most established institutions within those communities. And it is where the community come together. I mean, in Boston, we have a number of church partners that we work with, and they're throughout the community. So it is a way for us to reach members of the community, and the leaders, the pastors are leaders within the community. And one of the things that we found is that a number of pastors are prostate cancer survivors, and they become very passionate. So they're able to help us reach out in a passionate way to get the word out within their congregation and within their communities.
Well, and this might be a little bit like the play that's going to be performed. You have a family where somebody has prostate cancer. It comes out of the blue. They don't know what to do.
Right.
You have support groups. How can support groups help a family like that?
Well, we've been running support groups since 2003, really, since we've been founded. And we often, when men are diagnosed with prostate cancer, and I can speak for myself and I can speak for 99% of the men who come to a support group, you first think that, hey, this is it. I'm going to die. I have cancer. I'm going to die. So we invite the man who's diagnosed with the disease, along with his wife and family members, to come and listen to other survivors to understand the experiences that we've had. And so that really helps put them, number one, it helps calm them down, because fear facing a disease such as prostate cancer can be very deadly. You can make wrong decision. So the support groups have been very vital. And not only that, we have a whole network around the country of survivors. And from our support groups, we're able to mobilize survivors to go out in the community and to work and help others.
We should finally mention about the play. The performance is free, but I think you might want people to do something in advance. Is there something we should tell them about?
Absolutely. We're pleased to bring this play to communities. Boston will be our 14th city. And so we are able to provide the play free through sponsorships. And what we ask the viewers to do is to really go online and register, get your free tickets. I know here in Boston, we will be sold out. This will be the largest prostate cancer education awareness event ever in Boston at the John Hancock Hall. But go to deadisboys.org. That's our website, www.deadisboys.org, and register and get your free tickets and join us. Number one, we promise you two things. We promise you that you will be entertained, and we promise you that you will learn more about prostate cancer than you knew before coming in.
Thank you very much for being with us. Thomas Farrington from the Prostate Health Education Network.
Chris, thank you for having me.